Right, okay then. Good afternoon everyone. Thank you for attending the 13th Annual General Meeting of the RMT Credit Union. Just to clarify, the purpose of today's meeting is to provide you, the members, with the opportunity to receive reports on the performance of your credit union over our reporting year, which, just for reference, is the September the 30th, 2016. We're then required to make a decision on the dividend to pay to savers for the year, and we'll also have the election of members to serve on our credit union's board of directors. So first of all, have we got the apologies? They're all registered, are they?
Yeah. Apologies from Nicola Syson, Mark Beresford, Peter Burrows and Ian McKenzie.
Okay.
Anything else? That's all I've got so far.
Phil Borman?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Mick Lynch.
Lynch is going to come in.
Right, okay. Cool, okay.
Oh, sorry, and Gabrielle is working. Yeah, I thought it was working, yeah.
That'll do. Okay, thanks, sir. So the second item, first item is to establish that we have got a quorum, which we have. We now have 15 members present, so we can move forward. Can I have a mover for that, please? Thank you. Yeah, and a seconder. Yeah. Just before we do go further, actually, if you do move something or second something, if you could give the secretary your name, and it's just your name, is it?
Just the name. If I don't pick up during the meeting, I can speak to you.
Yeah. Okay. So it just makes life a bit easier for the secretary. Thank you. Okay. Second item: reading and approval of AGM minutes held on the 14th of December 2015. You should have all had a copy of those as a member. For those who are here, we need to confirm that they are a true and accurate record of the previous meeting. Is there anybody here who was present at the last meeting who wishes to add any amendments or contest anything within the AGM minutes? Right answer. Thank you very much. That's well done. So we now need a mover and a seconder. If we could from the floor, it would be useful. Just have some different names on the sheet. Is there anybody here who was here last year? From the floor? Lovely. Young man over there. What's your name, sir? Did you get that? Sorry? Nitin Patel.
That N?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Thank you. And a seconder, I guess we'll have to come from the table. Yep.
Okay,
Fabulous. Any dissenters? So moved. Okay, thank you. Moving swiftly on then to the third item on the agenda, the board report, which is my duty to deliver. I'll try to do it as concisely as possible. So key indicator, I'm just going to go through some key indicators for the credit union on the success that we've had through this year. And obviously at the end, if you've got any questions or would like to add any comments, feel free to do so. Our membership at the end of the year was 2,586. This is a 3.3% increase over the previous year, which is nice. However, although it is on an upward scale, we really do need to be thinking about a larger increase than that to ensure the continued growth of the credit union. However, we must celebrate the fact that we are still on the increase. The finances, your board's main duty is to keep our money secure and to try to get the best value for both our savers and our borrowers. The annual audited accounts follow on the agenda along with the report of our auditors, welcome, and treasury team. But here I give some key indicators of our financial performance in the year. At the close of the year, we had £4,452,856 in savings or shareholdings. That's actually a quite healthy growth of 8.4%, which is quite encouraging, and a loan book of £2,027,228, which again is a growth of 5.8%. So the total assets of the the credit union, total assets of the credit union are £5,104,909 pounds. Our expenditure and costs this year were £168,776 and 57 pence. Written off loans have increased, which is quite natural. If you've got a growth in your loan base, you're going to have a certain amount that you have to write off. And so have our overheads, as we do attempt to take on more of our own actual costs rather than relying on the trade union for ever increasing support. We had an operating surplus of £82,564, which is quite nice, but we'd like to see it more. The result is pleasing considering the extra expenditure we do now take on each year, and we have again demonstrated good growth despite the prevailing financial markets as ever, and these deliberate rises in our expenditure, which demonstrates the faith of our members have in our organisation. So it's a good news story, no great problems there, however we could always look to do better. As for the financial performance, regulations covering credit unions mean our cash assets have to be deposited in the low risk accounts, which given the current interest rates give very little return. The reality of that is the way we make most of our money is through interest on loans rather than on the money sitting in bank accounts, which is what we're designed to do, is actually give loans to people at their time of need on a mutual basis, which is why we're very keen to increase our loan book and reduce our asset balance, in that it would mean we would make more money, which means we'd be able to pay out a larger dividend and obviously offer eventually more services. So that's the plan. I've now lost my place, I do apologise. Yes, thank you. We have again demonstrated good growth despite the prevailing I've done that, haven't I? Can we edit this? Sorry. Yeah, okay. Where are we? Help me. Okay. Yep, okay, so, yes, here we are. At the end of the year, we had more than 2.9 million in our deposit and current accounts, which yield only minimal returns at the current rate of interest. On the plus side, our loan book stood at nearly £2,027,228 at the year end. So our total income was £236,003, with expenditure of £109,346, plus the corporation tax at £5,735. This leads to an overall surplus after tax of £82,564. We would like to recognise the contribution made by the RMT Union, which continues to support our organisation through the use of office space and admin support, infrastructure and staffing costs. Although it remains a firm part of our strategy to gradually work towards self-sufficiency, we are slowly weaning ourselves, where possible, off the material support we receive from our trade union. The actual item headings of expenditure are listed in detail in the accounts, with the big items being insurance, provision of doubtful debt, which we have to have by law, and bad debts written off, and of course FCA fees, subscription to our trade body and administration. Excluding bad debt, the rising figure of expenditure does not mean that our costs are rising, but it does reflect that we are paying more of our share of actual costs of our own accounts. So bad debt, there's always a downside to lending people money. Even in a mutual organisation such as ours, some people find they can't pay, some people find or decide that they won't pay. We have managed to control bad debt, and the write-off this year has been £43,513. However, we always keep all doubtful or problem loans under consideration, even once they've been written off, and make a provision for them. The further provision for this year is £36,500, meaning that the accumulated provision now stands at £92,601. The Christmas and summer holiday clubs, our Christmas and summer savings clubs, continue to grow, and the combined dividends for the summer at 7.75% and the Christmas at 1% meant that we paid out in dividends £1,317. I'd like to place on record the thanks and appreciations of the board to the following: General Secretary Mick Cash, and of course the National Trade Union for the material support that their staff provide to our organisation, to our manager Nikki Harrow, Stephen Marr, and all the staff of the finance department, without who we couldn't operate successfully. I'd also like to thank the rest of the board for their hard work throughout the year. Thanks to all of you too for your membership and support of the RMT Credit Union, and of course your attendance here today, which is vital. That concludes my report on behalf of the Board of Directors, which I'll now formally ask you to adopt. Before that, has anybody got any questions? Damn, I must be good. Well, they're all falling asleep, sorry. Okay, so we'll get on with it then. So we need a resolution that we accept the business report for the board report, sorry. Who so moves? Anyone want to move from the floor? Yeah? Thank you, Arthur. And a seconder from the floor?
Please. AR. Okay. And seconded.
Tell them they can come in.
Anyone from the floor? Anyone else want to second that?
They got it, Stephen Marr.
Oh, right, sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, any objections to them being adopted?
No.
So moved. Thank you very much. We now move swiftly on then to the Treasurer's report, at which point I will hand over to our erstwhile colleague and comrade, Gerald.
Hi, I'm reporting this on behalf of our Treasurer, Phil Warner, who can't be here today. So the Treasurer makes a written and verbal report to the Board of Directors every month. And through these reports, the Board is able to maintain its duty of stewardship of assets and to monitor the investments and loans and to assess bad debt in real time. Now, we've got to make the best we can to both to keep our money secure and to earn as much interest as possible on the deposits, which has been very difficult with interest rates so low this year. But here we have the list of the deposits that we've made to the various banks. We spread our money around because we are covered by the Financial Services Compensation Scheme. So if something went pear-shaped with one of these organisations, we will be covered for up to £75,000. In turn, you as members are covered for up to £75,000. So we had in total £1,738 £1,999,326 in our investments. Cash at bank actually we recorded a total of £1,858,737 at the year end, but investments due to mature within 3 months of the year were not included in the figure. Now the cash at bank and in hand, we had 1,218,944. So our total investments were just over 3 million, £3,077,681. So we operate a range of investment accounts with building societies, from banks and building societies, from which we see an interest return. The Treasury teams continue to monitor the markets in order to maximise interest rates without compromising security and keeping allocations where possible within the FSCS guarantees. This has again proved a difficult task as all deposit takers are offering very low interest rates, even when deposits are held over extended terms. Despite our efforts and the relatively large sums on deposit, we only managed to achieve an investment income of just over 28,673 for the year. So you have the key indicators, which is what the Treasurer gives to us at the end of each month, and it gives an idea. So we see that our membership is now 2,512, which is an increase of 3%. We've got fewer members with loans this year, down 4% to 688. The loan to share ratio has fallen to 47.9%. That's a fall of 3.7 percentage points. The number of loans to members as a percentage of our members is 27% of our members, which again is a fall of 2%. And our liquidity ratio is 37.16%, which is up 5.51%. So we have a loan book of 2,015,617, which is owned by 716 members, which represents 29% of the credit union membership. Again, your key indicators, 2,027,228 is the loan balance, and the share balance 4,237,135, which is 8.5%. So we provide data for the auditors, who will be giving their report in a few minutes to examine our account, and their report is placed before you later in this agenda. There are no particular developments or occurrences for the Treasury team to report to the AGM. Our credit union continues to sustain increases in savings. However, there's been a small percentage reduction in loan amounts per member. But overall, we're in financial good health.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions for the Treasury report? I know you're out there, I can hear you breathing. Okay. Sorry, Andrew, I'll move the mic. Right, there being no questions then, the next item is to request that the Treasurer's report is adopted. Again, I need a mover and a seconder. Is there anyone from the floor? Yeah, thanks very much. Two over there, just get them.
What's your initials, please?
Chronicles.
Sorry? M, what is it?
RC.
RC. Alright. And the seconder?
Oh, right, MT. Yeah. Michael Carty. Okay, any objections to the Treasurer's report being adopted? Carried unanimously. Thank you very much. Moving swiftly on again, we now come to the Audit Report, and I'm glad to welcome a member of HW Fisher here this afternoon, who I'm sure will fill you in. In the nicest possible way. Sorry, perhaps not a best way of putting it.
Our auditor's report is a page long. It's contained in the separate document you have, the Director's Report and Financial Statements for the year ended 30th September 2016. The page number is page 2. It is the smallest writing in there. They get longer and longer each year, but we try not to take up more space than you take up with the accounts with our report. But effectively, it's a clean audit report, an unqualified audit report, signed today, shortly after I think your accounts will find sort of formally signed off by 3 board members as required. And yet, unqualified report, obviously anyone free to read through that. Essentially, nothing to report concerns with these financial statements.
So we're all squeaky clean.
Pretty much so, and I think we'd like to thank Nikki for her hard work as well. I think because obviously we get the same sort of only do what
Sure.
you guys can do for So yeah, very much helpful. So yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Again, we'd like to echo it, Nikki. Good job, well done for another year. Thank you. And of course, your able assistant, young Stephen there. Okay then, so that just remains for me to request that the resolution that the auditor's report is adopted. Again, we need a couple of show of hands. Anyone from the floor? Patrick, you want to put your name down? Yeah, you do. Yeah. Tony?
Initials, please.
PM.
And Tony Doherty. Okay, any objections to the report being adopted? Carried unanimously. Thank you very much. Okay, item 6, declaration of surplus available for distribution and the Board of Directors' recommendation of application of same dividend on shares. So the resolution, it is me who does this, isn't it? Yeah. So the resolution, I shall read out, that the audited surplus for the year ended 30th of September 2016 is £82,564, of which at least 20% must be held for reserve under rule, which then leaves £66,051 out of the audited surplus. The amount £290 has been paid as dividend to the Summer Club, and the Christmas dividend paid was £1,027. The Board of Directors' recommendation, therefore, is that a 1% dividend is paid at a cost of £37,340, with the rest going to the credit union reserves after corporation tax. Bear in mind that this is quite a significantly larger payout than you would get from a normal bank account. So we do feel it's quite generous, and we deliberately so, because we value our members. So the declaration of surplus is adopted along with the Board of Directors' recommendation and is paid on shareholdings. So what we're voting on today is to accept the surplus and that we agree that the 1% dividend should be paid on the annual accounts. I need a mover. Well, I guess I'm moving it. So, and a seconder. Yeah, it's Richard's second. Is there any questions before we go further? Okay, is anybody against the motion? Carried unanimously. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Okay, moving swiftly on again to item 7, Credit Committee report. Who's doing the Credit Committee? Is that Carwyn? Thank you. Introduce Carwyn.
The Credit Committee's principal role is to ensure that the credit guidelines are strictly adhered to, and loans are monitored to make sure these repayments are within the agreed schedules. The credit union is here to serve all of us, and we encourage members to adhere to their own conditions. And however, if any member is in difficulty, all they need to do is to ring up, explain the difficulty, and there's many things we can do. We can extend the loan period, stop it altogether for a very short time if need be, and in general try and help. However, some people, they deliberately just don't pay their loans, and that's why we get so many agreements. But in that case, every effort is made to reclaim it, and I'm afraid we have many county court judgments in our favour. At the end of the first year of business, the RMT Credit Union had £305,000 on loan to 524 members. In 2013, it was 636 members had £1,590,823 on loan. In 2014, membership grew from 2,106 in 2013 to 2,287 in 2014. A balance loan of £1,681,077 to two more members, 638 members in total. In 2015, membership rose again to 2,440 and an outstanding loan balance of £2,015,618 to an increased membership of 716.
And in September this year, membership stood at 2,503. The loan balance was 2,027,228 to 688 members. A slight increase in the amount of people over the previous year. That's concludes the credit report.
Okay, thanks, Carwyn. Just to underline, although we had slightly fewer members actually taking out loans, the amount of money borrowed was actually slightly up. So we're still on course for our interest coming in. However, of course, we'd always like to have more. So, thank you, Carwyn. Any questions on the Credit Committee report? No? You're all very well behaved this afternoon, I must say. Okay, so the resolution for the AGM is that the report of the Credit Committee is adopted. Again, I need 2 members to move. Tony move, and seconder, Nicola. Thank you. I forgot your name. Rude. Okay, item 8 then, supervisory reports. That's you, isn't it? Yes, Michael.
Yeah, the Supervisory Committee has carried out its duties regularly at least once a month. I generally come up from Eastbourne and do business, although sometimes it's Colin. Sample checking of new membership applications, in fact all of them are done, because we only get about between 20 and 30 a month, so they're in fact all checked. Sample checking of membership files, cross-checking at random of new members' files and Acumen entries. That's the computer program where we have everything listed on computer from the start to end of each month as registered. Sample checks on loan applications and withdrawal applications that are applied each month by credit union members, checking and ensuring the details entered on Acumen are correct and are also signed and dated. So basically you're making sure the money's going to the proper nominated bank account and it's actually gone, that all the figures are right, all the signatures are right, but all the dates tally up. And I have to say that it's virtually unknown for there to be any problems with it. We submit a monthly report to the Board of Directors, which they look at. Check previous month's report, ensuring that any outstanding actions have been carried out and carried forward if necessary. But again, because there are so few errors in it, it's a rarity. And we sample check the members' files. Through these regular checks, clerical errors and omissions can be quickly spotted and compliance with our laid down procedures adhered to. That concludes the supervisory report for the AGM.
Thank you very much, Michael. Any questions on the supervisory report? Fabulous. Okay, then we go to the resolution that the supervisory report is adopted. From the floor, thanks, Mike. Michael Carty. Seconder.
What's the initial, sorry?
MC.
And
RB. Thank you. Okay, any objections to that being adopted? That carried unanimously. Thank you very much. Item 9, appointment of auditors. The resolution reads that we appoint H.W. Fisher & Co. as our auditors for the year 2016-2017. At this point, I'd like to thank them for their work, and we'll put it to the floor whether they wish them to be reappointed. Yeah, young man over there. Thank you.
that's
RC.
RC.
And PM up the end there. Democracy in action.
Yeah.
Are you alright with that, Fisher? Yeah, thanks. Good, God bless you. Okay, are there any objections to H.W. Fisher being reappointed? No, then motion is carried. Congratulations and welcome back. Thank you. Yeah, that would be awkward, wouldn't it? Okay, item 10, the money laundering report. I think we return now to Carwyn, who is our money laundering reporting officer.
Well, all the directors of the RMT Credit Union are aware of the credit union's policy and procedures to prevent money laundering, and that's via the Money Laundering Prevention Trainers Manual and the HM Revenue and Customs Money Laundering Regulations DVD. Training is also given via a lecture by a barrister specialising in this section of the law. Reporting procedures and necessary forms are available from the Money Laundering Reporting Officer. There's a phone number there, which is the business number. I'll ask to the relevant members of the RMT Union who are suspicious of any irregularities with money laundering or with money deposited with the credit union, and are aware of those who to inform and the information they need to be told. The rules on the prevention of money laundering and other financial crime are to be found in the credit union sourcebook. No matters with regard to money laundering in the past 12 months has been brought to my attention. And that concludes that report.
Okay, thank you, Carwyn. Any questions on the money laundering report? No? Okay, so then the resolution is that the report of the money laundering officer is adopted. Do we have a mover and a seconder? Yeah, I'll be.
Sorry, the initials again, please.
RB.
RB.
Yeah.
And
Okay, RC. Okay, swiftly on then to item 11. The penultimate, I don't know, it's the ultimate issue of the day, the election of the Board of Directors members. Now there are 4 vacancies on the board this year, caused by the rotational retirement of directors, as is required every 3 years. We do actually have 2 or 3 nominees. 2 nominees, so there are 2 vacancies currently for the Board of Directors. I would put out an appeal to the members who are present. If you think you might wish to join the Board of Directors, it is an honour that all members of the organisation and the credit union, are entitled to stand as Board of Director members. And actually, it's very important that we do have people, and people are prepared to commit a bit of time, because there is a little bit of time involved. It's not onerous, but there is some time involved, and we do need people who are going to come on board and actually be active and do stuff. So please consider that over the next 3 or 4 seconds. And if anybody wants to volunteer, Mick.
Yeah, if you're stuck for one, I'd volunteer that.
Okay. Okay. So you need a nomination form, do we? Or?
Can I just point out, Chair, that
Yeah.
We'll go through it.
it's an unpaid position.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's only fair that people
yeah.
know that.
No, that's absolutely right. Thank you, Tony, for your wise counsel. Yeah, so obviously it is a volunteer position. There's no cash involved. We might pay your bus fare, but that's about it.
I qualify the volunteer reference, Chair, that it's not,
Sure.
not the government's interpretation of volunteering, doing other people every job.
No,
Like that.
quite right.
It's a genuine volunteer position.
Thank you for clarifying it, Tony. It's a very good point, actually. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, obviously your expense, out-of-pocket expenses were paid to attend meetings, etc. But apart from that, there is no financial remuneration other than supporting your fellow RMT members at their time of need. Yeah, brilliant. Thanks. Can I grab that, Steve?
Yes. When are the meetings now?
Yeah, just sorry.
Tell them when the meetings are. Every third.
All right.
Once a month.
Do that. I'm being Barrett here. Okay, so just to clarify, again, the meetings. Sorry. The meetings are normally once a month on a Monday now, aren't they? The new ones.
Monday, yeah.
They will be on a Monday. Obviously, we'll plan those throughout the year, and people will be informed. Okay, thanks for that, Mick. That's great. So we need to go to the election then. So the resolution that we appoint the board of directors, David Gould, myself, Ivor Riddell, and Mick Carty as board of director members for the next 3 years. Can we have a mover, please? Carwyn, thank you. Yeah, and Tony. Arthur.
Thank you.
Okay. Are there any objections to those 3 people being elected? I thought you was going to object then. I got all excited. I thought it was going to be an election. Great. Okay. Thanks for that. Duly elected. So we'll move on then. I think that's it.
No.
Sorry.
Supervisory.
A supervisor report. We also need to just formally confirm that we appoint. There are no elections this year for the Supervisory Committee. Unless anybody's got anything else they wish to add, I think that formally concludes the business of the 13th Annual General Meeting of the RMT Credit Union. Thank you all for your attendance and your patience, and I believe there is some food and drink available at the top end if you want to get stuck in. Thank you all very much.